everyone, and welcome back to the Science Corner. Grab your science kit and we'll get started. I'm going to grab my list of supplies and look at Investigation Part 3. First, sorting. I need my science notebook, which means I will need my pencil. I need my 20 pebbles. I need my hand lens. I need my cup with water. I've got my cup. Got some water. And I need a towel and word wall words. Grab 2 towels and my word wall words. So today's word wall word we're using is property, but we're also going to use shiny, color, and texture as we're describing our rocks. Go ahead and take your science kit, put it to the side, and you can put your list of supplies back in that kit. I'm going to organize my supplies here on my table. Okay, so we've been using rock words to describe rocks. These rock words are called properties. Properties mean things like what it looks like and how it feels, such as the texture. Is it rough or smooth? The look, is it shiny or dull? The hardness, is it really hard where you can't break it, or is it really soft where I could crush it? Things we know about rocks and other objects by looking at them or feeling them are called properties. So we're going to check out our river rocks. Go ahead and take them out of the bag and lay them on the table. I'm going to move my bag to the side. Okay. You can see that these rocks are very different. I have lots and lots of them because I have around 20. And they're very different. Some of them are light in color, some of them are darker, so that is a look, and that's a property of these rocks. Some of them are a different color than the other ones. That's another property of the rocks. How do you feel them? Ooh, this one's rough, and this one's super smooth. So I can feel different properties of these rocks. So I'm observing the properties of the rocks through my eyes and through my touch when I feel them. How are these river rocks the same? That's our focus question for today. Well, they're all rocks. They're all kind of grayish in color. This one's a little bit pink. Mostly they're grayish. How else are they the same? Well, even the rough ones are still pretty smooth, so most of them are smoothish in texture. So now let's make a hypothesis. Open up your book to rock sorting. So what we're going to do today is sort these rocks. So if you sort the rocks, and let's think of one way we could sort these rocks. There are many different ways. I'm going to sort these rocks by the way that they look. So I'm going to sort them by color. If you sort these rocks by color, I think it would be different than if you sorted them by size. And then don't forget we need to say how we know this. I know this because I know color does not determine the size of something. I can have a blue pencil eraser, but I can also have blue cabinets. So just because it's blue doesn't mean it's a certain size. Alright, now I'm going to sort out my rocks. So I said I was going to do it by color. So first I'm going to do that. I have some that are kind of lighter in color. And I have some that are darker. Oh, that one's lighter. That one's lighter. Okay, so now I have two groups of rocks. I have light rocks and I have dark rocks. Well, it does look like some of my lighter rocks are the bigger size, but not all of them. So this dark rock is pretty big too. So my hypothesis that if you sort them by color, it would not be the same as if you did it by size seems to be true. But now let's sort them by size and see what happens. So I am going to have big rocks. I have some tiny rocks. And then, let's see, big rock. Then I have some middle rocks. So I ended up with 3 groups of rocks when I did that. I have big, middle, and small. Just like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears again. So I was right. They did not turn out the same as when I sorted them by color. So some of these rocks had the same thing in common, even though they had some things that were different. I'm going to try my hand lens and look at them to see if they look the same close up. Ooh, this one's super sparkly. And this one's dull. I'm going to sort them by sparkly and dull now. Dull means not sparkly. This one is sparkly. And sparkling. Alright, well these two groups still look pretty different. What I did notice about my river rocks and how they're the same was that they're all close to the same size. I did when I sorted them by size. I had a small, medium, and large size, but they're still all about the same size, because even if I take a little one from the little group and a big one from the big group, they're pretty close to the same size. They're both smaller than my hand, and they're both smaller than my magnifying glass. And both of those were dull. So there are things that are similar about these rocks, but also some things that are different. Alright, now let's fill out our sheet. How are river rocks the same? They were all pretty smooth. They're not at all like my scoria, which was really rough. I'm going to say smooth-ish. They're all smooth-ish because they're kind of smooth. They're all gray-ish. They're about the same size. And you could add more to that. So I sorted the rocks into groups using the property of, so I did it using the property of, I used size, I used if they were shiny or dull, and I used color. Okay, now that I have my paper filled out, I still have my water I can use. I haven't used this yet. So how could I use the water with these rocks to help me sort them? What do you think would happen if I put these rocks in the water? They'd probably get darker. We learned that during our washing rocks. What else might happen? They might bubble. They're definitely going to sink to the ground. Do you think that a dark rock and a light rock would change in the same way if I got them wet? Let's find out. I'm going to put the dark rock in. got darker. Now I'm going to put the light rock in with it. That one got darker too, so they both get darker when they get wet. They still don't look exactly the same. Although I did notice that there seems to be some of the same color in the dark one in the light one. Like it has spots of the dark one's color. And there seems to be stripes of the light one in the dark one too. Let me take those two out and I'll put in another one. I'm gonna just grab two from my shiny now because I did two from my dull pile. One didn't change too much. That one got darker. They both got a little darker. They look very similar actually to the ones I just had in there. So I'm gonna put them all four in together. Yes, they definitely look the same now. So even though I saw some sparkly ones in two of them, and I saw two of them that were dull, they look the same in the water. I can see that there's stuff coming off of the rocks from getting wet, just like it did with our other rocks. So it's weathering my rocks, dropping them into the water. Maybe also cleaning them, because maybe there was some dirt on them too. You pull these out. I'm gonna dry my hands before I write more in my book. All right, and I could add a little bit more to this. I could say if you get the rocks wet, they all get darker. If you get them wet, they get darker. All right. You have lots of room on these pages to add more to your notebook. You're welcome to do that. Now it's time to clean up. So I'm going to take my rocks, the ones that I didn't get wet. I'm going to put them back in my Ziploc. So let me grab my science kit. Put them back in here. The ones that are wet, I'm going to leave out to dry. I'm going to dump out my water. Now if your water is really dirty, you can dump it out outside. Mine's not too dirty, so I'm just going to dump it out in the sink. I'm going to rinse out my cup. Put it back in here. And let me put my pencil back in and pull out my list of supplies. Let's look at what we need for next time. Since there's so much snow, we're going to skip part 4, starting a rock collection. We can go back to that later when there's less snow. So we're going to go on to part 5, sorting activities. We're going to need our science notebook, our Pebbles, Sand, and Silt book right here. We're going to need our set of pebbles, which is what we just had, so I'm going to make sure that I keep these on top. We're going to need our sorting mat from our paper packet, which is that packet that says letter to the family. We're going to need our hand lens and our granite. So I'm going to take my hand lens and I'm going to put it on top with my rocks. And my granite I put in here before, that's that pink rock. So make sure you know where that one is. And I'm going to need some of my word wall words. That's all I'll need for next time. So I'm going to go ahead and put all of this back in. I'm going to move my science kit to the side, put it away. I can move my book. My rocks are still pretty wet and my table's wet, so I'm going to dry my table. I'm going to get out a dry paper towel for my rocks. And I'm going to leave these 4 rocks out to dry. Dry my table and I'm going to throw my trash away. All right, that's all for today. Thank you for joining me in the Science Corner. I'll see you next time. Bye.